This is the 442 podcast.
Welcome back to the 442 podcast. We are currently on a break from all the regular team games, just international going on right now.
No domestic leagues going on.
No domestic, exactly. So yeah, you want to start us off with international?
Let's go with the World Cup qualifiers, only because it's England.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I'm wearing my England shirt and England hat. So Tuchel's first game at Wembley, and Albania. So yeah, interesting game. Wasn't that exciting. Basically started out pretty well. The lineup was some surprises, but that's to be expected. And great pass from Bellingham on the goal. And then, what's his name? Miles Skelly from, is it Miles Skelly?
Lewis. I thought it was Lewis.
Lewis Miles Skelly or Lewis Skelly?
Yeah. I don't know.
The guy's only 18, so
Yeah.
anyway, he scored on his debut.
Yeah.
For the senior team at 18. So, but great pass from Bellingham. I think Bellingham was a standout for England, and but they started out pretty well. I think they were moving the ball around really well. Albania was obviously in the low block, so it's hard to break down. But that first goal went in, and then second half, I don't know, it just kind of lost some of their fluidity and quickness of passing, and so Albania, we were able to just kind of hunker down. And then a nice goal by Kane, took it really well. I think it was a cross from, I think it was Rice.
Yeah.
And he took it down past the defender and just nailed it. And so 2-0. So it's a win. But Dan Burn started and played the whole game.
He looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he did, and he almost scored.
Yeah.
And definitely that's a strategy from corners, because they lined up and they had the blocks in, and he's hard to stop on a corner. If you get the right movement. And I think he either hit the bar or had a save. It was a good save. But not bad performance. Disappointing in the second half, I would say.
Yeah.
What about you? Any comments on?
Yeah, they looked okay. It was kind of an interesting mix of players. I know they have some injuries right now, so it wasn't like the full probably starting team that Tuchel would ideally want, with Palmer, Saka, some of those guys
Absolutely
missing out. So it was, I think with what he had, it was good from England. It was nice to see some of those players who probably won't start in the World Cup. It was good to see them. At least we know England will have some depth, and if they need to bring on subs, they're going to have some options, which is nice.
Some good backup players.
Yeah, and Foden, we know he's quality, but this season has not been his best year.
Yeah, it was horrible. I should have said that, but yeah. And I think he was playing right wing and just kept coming in. There was situations where he was one-on-one with the defender and he would not challenge him. He tried to come in, pass it sideways, just nothing.
Yeah.
Just a shell of himself. He was so good, and now he's just really dropped off. So
yeah.
I don't know if he's going to come back to his old form or that's it for him. But
I think it's just an off year for City, and that's probably affecting him as a player as well.
Confidence, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I think he'll come back, but yeah, they looked decent, and then I think Rice he's so good. He's so consistent at that center defensive mid role. I think he's probably like top 3 CDMs in the world right now for Rice. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, he's good, and he can score goals too.
Yeah.
He can score with his head. He can, score with a shot, and great player. He is. That's a great addition to Arsenal. He really has made a difference.
Yeah, he crushed it.
Yeah, he really did. And then Walker, I was a bit surprised to see him.
Why is he out there? He's too old. He's past it.
He is. I think he's finally turned it around at AC Milan since he moved there from City. But there's other options, but I know there are some injuries as well. Lewis Hall would have probably started from Newcastle if he hadn't had an injury. And like you said, Cole Palmer would have been out there. Saka, that's a big miss too. So you have to kind of fill in the pieces there. It's his first game, so they had a nice big sign up saying to Thomas Tuchel at Wembley, and so hey, it's a win.
It's a win. A win's a win.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Take the win for England. Take the positive.
Yeah.
So good to see them get a win. I'm happy for it. And then, did you want to talk about like any of the other World Cup qualifying games, or was it anything stand out to you?
Not really. I honestly wasn't paying attention to most of those games because it is the first game, and
I saw Egypt get a win, so I'm happy for Salah.
Did Salah score?
I gotta check that. I don't know. I didn't see if he scored. I'll have to pull that up.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, there was the Nations League going on as well, quarterfinals, and so busy international schedule anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He usually does score. He's the captain. So,
He did score.
oh,
He
there
did
you go.
score.
So maybe that'll help his confidence coming back to Liverpool after the international break.
Yeah, good to see him get a goal. But the Nations League was more interesting. Those games were more interesting than the World Cup qualifiers, I would say.
Yeah, bigger matchups
Yeah.
with the teams if you just look at it, and some interesting results, because that was over 2 legs. What we had the Netherlands tying Spain, and then that just wrapped up today, I think, right on penalties.
Yep, Spain took the dub on penalties.
And then Germany and Italy, first game was a tie. I think it ended up being two, actually ties as well on that one.
Well,
Right?
they won on aggregate. Germany went through on aggregate 5-4.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Spain is the one that had the penalty shootout with.
Yep, Spain won on penalties.
Yeah.
So Netherlands are knocked out. For Spain, though, I think they're one of the strongest teams right now. Overall.
Yeah, they've got some great players.
Yeah.
And they, they're the European champions, right? So they beat England in the final of that. So, yeah, they're in a good position. And I think, Netherlands looked good as well. I mean, they
have a good team too.
They held them, and like I said, I went to penalties. You got to be happy Gakpo scored in the first game.
Yeah, so. It's good to see Gakpo scoring. I mean, he's been a scoring machine for the Netherlands and Liverpool, so I know he had that knock. So it's good. He looks fully fit though.
Yeah, he looks ready. So I think he'll come back,
which is good.
From the international break and should be in form. So that'll be good because obviously Jota hasn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
We had Portugal. They went through pretty much the teams that were expected, even though they had a little bump on the road in the first leg. I think France lost to Croatia, but then coming back on penalties and beat them. So
France is
now we're looking at Spain,
France,
and
Germany, Portugal.
Yeah, Germany, Portugal for the other semifinal.
So some good games there.
So that should be interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the Nations League, and I don't make comments about because England never did very well. But I think one year they actually got to the final, or at least did well. But recently they haven't done very well. But it's that tournament was just kind of pushed in to make they had the friendlies. They weren't very competitive, and at least there's a trophy now, and you can have games to prepare for the Euros or for the or for the World Cup.
Yep.
And so that's why it's there. But I haven't been a huge fan of it actually. And I know it's a new tournament, but it's the Euros or the World Cup for me.
They're just trying to add as many games as possible, get the money. Yeah.
That's FIFA.
Exactly. But I would say Spain probably favorite to win. I think they're going to be one of the favorites going into the next World Cup.
Have to be, yeah.
Because they're stacked. And I really like, for that Spain team, obviously, they have Lamine Yamal, who's one of the best players in the world.
17. Right?
Yeah, crazy. And then Nico Williams, I mean, he's really good too. He's young as well. Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah.
He plays for them. Do you think somebody bigger will try to pick him up because he's young and he's on not one of the top teams?
I would imagine it. Yeah. Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid or Barcelona, because he's playing really well right now, and he score goals. He's great player. So I think he'll move.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be settled there.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, he's probably too good for them.
I think he is.
And then, do you think Lamine Yamal? Do you think he'll live up to the hype? Because I know he's already he's won the Euros he was 16 when he won, I think.
Yeah.
And so he's already on a good trajectory. Do you think he's gonna live up to what the expectations are for him?
So far, it looks like it. I mean, he's at Barcelona. He's playing great. He's only 17, so he's got a hell of a future. Moving forward. So I think he will. I think he's going to be a great player. And just going back to the World Cup with Spain, they've got to be one of the favorites. And I would like to see Spain and England in the final, and England beating Spain and getting revenge.
I wouldn't mind that.
That's my dream. Okay.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate Spain. I like how they play, but they did beat England, so I would like that revenge.
And they deserved it. England
didn't play well.
They did not.
Those will be interesting games. Who do you got coming out of that Germany-Portugal game? Who do you think's going to win that one?
I think Germany. I think Germany. I know Portugal always seems to be in tournaments at the later stages. Ronaldo still playing, amazingly enough, and still good. And Portugal's a strong team, but I think Germany's starting to move forward now. They're making some progression. They've got their newer coach, Nagelsmann, I think it is. But I think so. Musiala.
Yeah, he's really good.
Bayern, and he could have played for England. I think one parent's German, one parent's English, and he's chose Germany. So he's a great player. So no, they've got some good talent in that team. So I think Germany's on that rebuild because they had an off time.
No, they were struggling for a bit.
They were pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so I think now they're heading up.
Yeah.
So I think this will be another step forward for them, and they can beat Portugal. So I would say Spain, Germany in the final.
Spain, Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, Portugal does have a good team, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a toss up, but yeah, Germany might have the slight edge there. But I think Spain's gonna beat France.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think France, they might be past their peak. I know they still have a very good team,
Yeah.
but I think Spain's gonna take that. So yeah, I would agree. Spain, probably Germany final.
Yep.
That'd be a good game, honestly. I wouldn't mind watching that.
That would, yeah. Like I said, not a huge fan of the Nations League, but yeah, I think I'd watch that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, that'd be a good one. Anything else to add on to the Nations League?
No, I think yeah. Kind of forgot it was even going on, honestly. But I was paying attention to the England
Yeah.
World Cup qualifier. But no, nothing to add on that. I think I said it all.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a lot to talk about when there's these like international breaks. I feel like
Yeah.
it's better whenever there's a big tournament. Obviously, then it's like super interesting and
Yeah.
we're super into it. And I feel like the world, yeah, it's just like some of the qualifiers, like England should win, so it's not like it's not super, engaging or
Not usually any surprises.
yeah.
And medals
there's
look pretty, but they usually win, and they usually
Yeah.
finish top of the group. And,
Right.
And then when it gets to the knockout phases, that's when things start to happen.
Right, right. Oh, and then we can talk about the U.S. They did lose
Yeah, yeah. And that was the CONCACAF
to
Nations League.
Panama 1-0.
Yeah, that
happened?
was a disappointment. Yeah, I think forward for them, Waterman, I believe his name is, and he scored. And kind of interesting, he ran into the crowd where the booth was, and I'm sure you've seen this. He embraced Henry, and most of the team followed him. So it's kind of a unusual moment. But the US had some chances. Josh Sargent, I think he plays for Norwich.
Yeah, he's
the
good.
Championship, good player. I think he hit the post, but they had some chances. Didn't look great. It was just Panama didn't have a ton of chances, but got the result. And they're one of those bogey teams for the US. US always struggles against Panama.
Yeah.
And then the other one was interesting too. I know Canada's been playing.
Canada's got actually a good team.
They have a good team. And
Yeah.
I think they could have been favored over Mexico, but Mexico got through 2-0. Raul Jimenez, the Fulham guy, came through, scored 2 goals.
He's good. He's good. So.
He looked really good. And so now it's Mexico, Panama in the final. And one of the interesting things I thought about that, the 2 games where they were double headers at SoFi, and the US played at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. And that is not a great time to be driving around LA on a work day.
No.
So the crowd was very sparse. SoFi is a big stadium, and that did not look good. It's not a good endorsement for a team that's one of the countries that hosts in the World Cup to have that kind of attendance. But they did have the thing stacked against them that time frame. Having a game at 4 p.m. on a weekday in LA near LAX is not a good time.
Not ideal.
No.
With the traffic and people at work, so I mean, can't really blame people. Like
I'm sure that turned a lot of people off.
I'm sure. So then the Mexico game was way more packed because it was later after the US.
Obviously Mexico, it's at Southern California, they huge fan base, and so much bigger crowd for that game. So I don't think that was a good planning.
No.
For that tournament.
Definitely not. So then I would say Mexico, I mean, they should win the final, which is about to happen actually today. You think they're going to take it? Or?
I think Mexico should take this.
Yeah.
Panama, they got past the US, but I think Mexico's a little too strong. Mm-hmm. They've got the confidence. They can score goals. I'm putting my money on Mexico for this.
Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably take it. Didn't they take it last year too?
I think they did. Yeah.
They usually win it. I think Canada had a good run last year, but then they lost in the semis, so they're getting close. Maybe Canada will take it one year, but it's usually Mexico or the US.
Yeah, they've really improved. I think Jesse March is the Canada coach now, US player, former coach, so they've got a lot of growth. So it's a disappointment them how easily Mexico handled them, I think.
Right. And then, did you want to add anything else onto those nation leagues or qualifiers? Not a ton of games other than I feel like the UEFA Nations League were the only like super interesting games.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, we've got England's got a game tomorrow, Latvia, World Cup qualifier, another one they should win. I think Anthony Gordon isn't playing. He's had to drop out. He got a knock, and he came on as a sub second half for England, and he's not playing. So let's see what Tuchel does this time. I'm curious to see because these are early days.
Yep.
Just to see the formation and who he plays, if he changes it up a little bit after the last game. But I like Thomas Tuchel as a coach. I think he'll do well. So let's just watch the game tomorrow and see what happens.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I like Tuchel, so yeah, I hope England, maybe they'll finally cross the finish line, for 2026. We'll see. Got a lot of time before that, so a lot can happen. And then we wanted to talk about Wrexham because they are on track to get promoted again to the championship,
Back to back.
which would be absolutely crazy. They're in second right now, sitting on 74 points. Birmingham is pretty much secured to win it, so they're in first.
Yeah.
And they Wickham is right behind them, sitting on 71 with a game in hand and a better goal differential. So if Wickham wins, they will move into second. So it's definitely not guaranteed for Wrexham, but it's looking very likely. Would you like to see Wrexham in the championship next year?
I would. I think, they've had a great run and they continue to improve. I think they're still working on that new stand, the COP at their stadium.
Right.
They've got the temporary stand there. Great attendance, a great atmosphere, and that drive and that hunger. And it doesn't hurt having the backers that they do, Ryan
Sure.
Reynolds and Rob McElhaney. I think there's been some other investors now. But yeah, they would definitely have to step it up a gear to go if they do get promoted and they're in the championship, because that's a tough league.
Very tough.
And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like, with Ipswich.
I was going to say they could be playing Ipswich next year.
I was going to say that, yeah. So that might be fun, seeing Ipswich against Wrexham, right? Because that's very possible, because I'm thinking they're going to get through. They are going to get promoted. But Birmingham's run away. I mean, they've been...
Yeah.
And they're American backers, I think, as well. So they've got some good financing to help them. So that'll be interesting to see them in the championship as well. They've got a great history. Yeah, I think Wrexham's going to do it. So I'll continue putting that, the Wrexham show on.
That would be great. And if Wrexham does get promoted, I would love to go to a Wrexham Ipswich game. You either go to Wrexham or Ipswich, either one.
That would be fun, yeah.
That'd be a fun game to go to.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
So we'll see with that. What do you think about the Wrexham hate because of how fast they're moving up the leagues and succeeding, their success? Like, everybody who's like in those leagues, there's a lot of hate basically towards them.
Yeah.
Do you think it's deserved, or what do you think of it?
No, I mean, I don't think so. That town, Wrexham, it's got a history of mining. It was really depressed, really run down. So when Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney had this idea to, buy this team and try to succeed and get them to the Premier League, it really opened up a lot of eyes. But yeah, there is plenty of teams who are jealous. I think it's a lot of it has to do with envy, and they wish they had people backing them and helping them out. But it's good for the town. The town was really depressed, and now you just watch the show and you can see how happy the people are and the enthusiasm, and I think it's good. And yeah, it's just jealousy. That's how I look at it.
It's definitely jealousy. I mean, if any of these teams were to receive the same amount of funding or owners that have that much money as they do and start, putting all this money into their own team, they would be happy. It's like, put yourself in their shoes and you'd be happy. So you can't, it's just jealousy.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting. I would love to see Wrexham make it to the Premier League and then, playing Liverpool. That would be fun to watch.
Yeah. By then
One
they'd
day.
have their cop, so you'd have, the Liverpool cop and the Wrexham cop. Or was it the racetrack, I think?
The racetrack, yeah. That would be super fun to see.
Yep.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. Did you have anything else to add on to that?
No, I think looking forward to seeing what England can do tomorrow.
We'll see. Yeah.
Tweaking their system and adapting to Tuchel.
Right.
But no, I think it's that's what I'm looking forward to anyway. And then the Premier League again, then we can see.
We got 2 more weeks until it's back, because no games next weekend. So yeah, it's a little shorter episode probably this week and next week until the Premier League comes back and Champions League and all the good stuff. But until then, we appreciate the support. Hit the like button, share it out, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.